All right, hello everyone. Welcome to this week's tactical watch list. It is Sunday, July 6th, 2025. Hope everybody had a great long July 4th weekend. Back at it with a regular schedule this week. So, less names than last week. I'll go in alphabetical order. First, we have AVPT. This is application software. This depth here in this base is 37%, and the current pivot using this candle's low is uh, about 8%. So I'd like to see this come back up to this level here and go tight for a couple days, and then use that as the stop. But if it just goes, it's buyable. CDTX. This is a biotech high tight flag here. You see a long period of dormancy, and then we got a big 184% gain, and it pulled back about 24%, 22 if you're using this low. So it's a little bit breached, but 184% is pretty huge. So don't have a very clearly defined pivot. You have this kind of this slanted pivot here. So I think probably over this day's high, you might want to give it a buy. And then, it's going to be too wide. This is 11% down here, so you're likely going to have to use a low of day. Or if you want to wait for it to come up here and use that supply as your breakout, you can. But then, of course, you're just widening your risk there. So I'd like to just see this build out a little bit more. But if these things might just go just like we've seen with some of these high tight flags. Chef, this is the food distributor. Decent pivot here, 5%, pretty tight. The base depth is 32%, going back to February. So that's a decent size base here. I like this one still. Dan, this was on last week's list. This is the automotive. It just got right up there on Friday and then just came back in. So maybe a couple more days. This looks like it's trying to build out a little fractal of a cup and handle. So, just 1 or 2 more days. And that's a nice cup and handle within the larger cup and handle. So that looks good. EAT, this one poked out a couple times last week, Monday and Tuesday. Didn't really get anywhere, came back in. So this is still on the list. It's still buyable if you want to buy it where it's at. Maybe try to buy it near the danger point, get it near the lows. FTNT Fortinet. This one we were looking at for quite a while now. It's just failing to really make a move here. But this pivot here is only 5% down to these lows, so pretty tight there. FUTU, FUTU. This is the China investment banking. Pretty decent cup and handle here. The depth is about 46%, and your current pivot is about 7-8%. So a little bit more tightening, and then this one can go. GILD, Gilead Biotech. I like this little pivot here. It's only about under 3%, so that's super tight here. KGC, this is a gold stock. This was on the list last week. Still hasn't broken out. Down to this below the 50, you're at around 8.5%. So this is relatively tight. You could use Wednesday or Thursday's low here as your stop there if it goes. LLYVK, this is the movies and entertainment. This one tried. I think we were looking at it like through here, and then just kind of got a little funky here. So I would just wait for new highs, use that, and then you can use that low here. That's only 4% down to here. So that's pretty tight. LYV, this is Live Nation. Decent base here. Only 28% depth. So this held up really well during the market correction. And now we're looking at a pivot that is under 3% using this low. So you can even give this breakout down to here, and you're at 5.25. MKL, this is property and casualty insurance. Not the best look. It's kind of just drifting up here, but we do have. So Also, by the way, I don't know if you're looking at these numbers here. These are just like placeholder alerts. They're not actual like don't put like $2,003.11 because obviously that's not even the high here. You would want to put your alert at 2004.24. I just threw these on here real quick instead of drawing lines because I think it's easier. But anyway, so you're looking at roughly under 3% down to this shakeout low here. So it looks okay. OPOF, not my favorite. It's a regional bank. Does have some power here though. It did gap up 21%. So kind of an extremely low tight flag, but decent base here. You got some blue skyscrapers, so that looks okay. And it's relatively tight. You're looking at about 4.7%. TT, this is not tactical trades. This is Train Technologies. Maybe one day TT will get its own stock ticker. That'd be cool. But this is pretty tight. We're looking at about 2.5% stop to this low here. And this is just kind of like a high handle. I think I have to back out a little bit here so you can see the whole thing. Pretty big cup and handle. It was a little bit time compressed here, but now it's building out. And I think that one looks pretty good. Let's go back to the 6 month. Uber, this one is I believe this is another one that you gotta kind of zoom out here. It's a little bit funky. Not your standard base here, but within that base is your little mini cup and handle here. So into new highs here, you're looking at about 5% stop to this low. VRSN, this is Internet Services and Infrastructure. This one kind of looks like the, which one was it? The OPOF, kind of, yeah. Looks a little bit similar, just kind of riding the 50. Not a ton of power here, but it is buyable. Got about under 5% down to the shakeout low here. I mean, you could bring it all the way down to here to this low, and you're still under 9%. So got a couple options, maybe stagger those. And then finally, Walmart. Big base here. We got a 24% depth going all the way back to February, and now just kind of building out this VCP. So this pivot here is about 3.5%. That's really tight. And that's about it. Not a ton of names, not a ton of excitement, but let's see how this week goes, and I'll see you next week.